Before this video begins, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an upload. And also, check out my affiliate links down in the description below to get discounts on car products and car mods. Let's get into the review. Hello and welcome. Today we are inside of a 2008 Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. This is one of my weird dream cars, and I really hope to own one someday, so it's a real privilege to be able to review this. Make sure to also check out my POV drive of this Police Interceptor coming up soon. I would like to thank Soda Motors and Newport Speed Shop, located in Newport, Rhode Island, for allowing me to review this car. Their link is in the description below. This Crown Vic is finished in beige, and is part of the Panther platform, and that ran from about 1997 to 2011 in this period. This is a 2008. This current vehicle has about 120,000 miles and 638 idle hours, and is currently for sale. This is basically the cop car of a generation, used from undercover all the way up through patrol vehicles in nearly every police department in America. This is an absolute icon of a vehicle, a big V8 sedan, and it still holds its charm well today. This is powered by a 2-valve, single overhead cam, 4.6-liter naturally aspirated V8 that produces 250 horsepower and 297 pound-feet of torque. Funny enough, this is actually the same engine that was in the Mustang of the time. And this is such a utilitarian vehicle that it actually rides on the same frame and chassis as the Ford F-150 of the time, yet this is a sedan. It's the funniest thing. This is a rear-wheel drive car and achieves about 17 miles per gallon averaged out. This rides on some 17-inch wheels that are steel wheels, so you can actually, if you're using this for curb hopping, for example, as they were often intended to be, you can just hammer those out if the wheels get out of shape, whereas with a modern alloy wheel, they would get destroyed. So that's pretty cool. And also, those have 4 disc brakes all around and 235 wide tires. These are actually government-issue tires. You actually cannot buy these as a civilian in any capacity. You have to have them on this specific type of vehicle. They're over $350 a tire, but they do have Kevlar inside of them, and some have run flat. This Crown Vic is actually capable of towing about 1,500 pounds. The main caveat of buying one of these cars, besides essentially impersonating a police officer, if that's what you would like to do, is they are insanely reliable and known to go to extremely high mileage with minimal issues. They're very inefficient because they use a big old American V8, but because of that, they're very reliable. So honestly, this could be used as an alternative to a Toyota Camry, which is funny enough. And it does have about 5.6 inches of ground clearance. This rides on a double wishbone suspension, which is heavy duty, so it'll yield a bit of a stiff ride, but it has to for all the utility. This also does have an extra transmission cooler and a heavy duty transmission. Overall on the exterior, it's an understated styling. It's pretty neutral, but I think it looks pretty menacing and mean, and still big. And powerful. And let's hop outside. So starting up this beast, there's actually no key fob in here, so to unlock and lock this car, you have to jam it right into the door handle and lock and unlock like so. So that is pretty cool. It holds on to, I guess you could call it some old-time charm. Really, it's just being the most basic vehicle known to man, but it does it well. So the exterior styling is shared with most other vehicles on the Panther platform, including the Mercury Grand Marquis, the Mercury Marauder, and the Lincoln Town Car of the time. And right here you can see your steel wheels. So those are actually just thin hubs, and they definitely make it apparent this was a police vehicle. I think they look pretty good, and once again, they're very durable, so you can just hammer it out if they were to get bent. Over on the side here, you do get 35% tint on this vehicle. I think it looks pretty good. Not too excessively dark, but it's pretty good from the outside. For your mirror here, it is a power mirror, surprisingly. Not heated though, and it does not have a turn indicator in the mirror cap. This is just hard plastic right here. You do get a little bit of chrome trim. Here is your fuel cap. And inside of there, you do have a flex fuel vehicle right here, so that can run on multiple grades of fuel, including E85. In the back here, it's pretty conservatively styled, but a lot of you have probably seen this view at one point or another on a police car, and it looks pretty good. Very, very basic, very boring, but it gets the job done. And you do get a single exhaust right there. And for the other side, it's just about the same. You also do get matte black door handles. So they didn't go to any effort into making this look like a luxury car. Why would they? It was just supposed to be a cheap, reliable vehicle, and it did its job very well. And let's have a look on the inside. So for the driver's door panel, it is very basic and very utilitarian. Absolutely no soft touch materials to be found. This is a little bit rubberized, but everything else is rock hard plastic. You do get a plastic door handle, and right here you get power window controls, the driver's door and window. The driver's window is actually one touch, which is nice. You do get the ability to control the rear windows. You have power locks in here, and you do get power mirror controls, which is nice. Below that, you do get your storage cubby, and let's see for the main seat. So for the driver's seat, you do get power lumbar support, which is interesting on a car this early. That wasn't that common yet. You do have power adjustments for the rear torso area, and these are cloth seats. You do have a foot parking brake right there, and here is your hood latch. To the left of your driver's wheel, you do get light controls and a switch, which is cool, and your brightness for the switches inside. On the inside here, for your driver's wheel, this is going to be a rubberized steering wheel. This is not leather wrapped, and it is very, very bland. It has a giant spot for the airbag, but that's about it. You don't get cruise control in here. It doesn't feel too bad in hand, but it's obviously it's a very unique design, very old design. Over here you do get your shifter, so this is a column shifter. So you can go into reverse like so, and all your other things, including drive, 2, and 1. Pop it back into park. You do get overdrive in here, so you can turn that on and off like so. In the center, you get your idle hours here, and you do get a fully analog gauge cluster, as basic as they come. This is a very common one of Fords at the time. So you get your tachometer on the right, your speedometer on the left, temp gauge, and fuel gauge. That's about all you need. As for the seats themselves, the driver's seat is manual slide back and forth, but it does have the power lumbar. On the passenger side, you don't get any power, you get full manual controls. And these seats themselves, they are made of a cloth material, a very durable cloth material, but they have almost no bolstering of any kind. It's like you're sitting on a couch here. At least a little bit in the torso, you do get bolstering, but they are massive seats, and they are not the most comfortable. However, it's okay. This is meant to be, if you're not a cop, more used as a cruising vehicle, so that's okay. And also, an interesting thing about each of these seats, inside of here, if you hear you whack the back, you actually get metal sheets inside of here. So each of the front seats are stab proof if you have a prisoner or just someone dangerous in the back. This is a very, very safe car to be riding in up front because both seats are actually stab proof, so that is very cool. In the center here, you do get a rear defrost button, which is nice. You have a manual key to start. And in here you do have an aftermarket radio thing installed, but in the stock car you actually would still get a cassette player, which is interesting. You have a little storage cubby down below. You have air conditioning in here, which is nice. No automatic, no dual zone, but you do have it. In the center here you actually do have a trunk release button, which is nice. You do have your caution button right up here. On the right side you do get a glove box. It is not really damp, it just hangs there. It's just cheap plastic. It is not meant to be a luxury one, but it gets the job done. Inside of here you also do get, all throughout here, you do get rubberized flooring. So a lot of departments will install a center console here, but they actually don't come with one from the factory. So instead of being all cloth and fabric, which you could opt for, a lot of the features are options in cop cars. They chose to keep it rubberized flooring in here, so you know, it's the most durable it can be, and whatever you have in here, at least you can just hose it out. And right here you do get no sunroof, but you do get one of those police lights, which is nice to light up the interior, and you do get a manual dimming rear view mirror. For your visors, you do get a vanity mirror. There's no light there though. And if you pull the visor like so, it actually does slide and cover everything. However, it's far too high up in my opinion. I think it should be a little bit lower to cover the window. As for visibility in here, it's pretty good and boxy because this is just a big V8 sedan, so not too bad. Let's hop in the back and check that out. In many Crown Vics, they actually disconnect the rear door handle so that prisoners can't get out, but this is more of a detective vehicle, so it is currently still activated in here. And once again, you get your stab-proof seats. For room back here, it is not the best, honestly. I have the seat where I just was. I'm 6 feet tall with pretty long legs. I can fit back here okay. I have a little bit of knee room left. I have pretty good headroom, but I'm almost at the limit of having room here, so that's a little interesting. These giant Panther platforms, they never really allocated the rear space that effectively, so although they had a very roomy and space-filled front, they never quite got a hold of the giant rear space that they could have. But back here, no center console, basically none of anything. Like, this is the most basic thing, no center console. But you do get leather back here, opposed to the cloth up front. It's honestly not the worst comfort back here. It has a little bit of good support back here for your back. It's really not that bad, surprisingly. And that's going to be about it for the rear. Let's check out the cargo area. And to do that, we are actually going to do the trunk release button right there. Alright, so in the cargo area, you do get a full-size spare tire, which is nice, and an absolutely massive amount of space back here. Certain Vics actually had Kevlar lining back here. This one does not have it, but you can line this entire area with Kevlar. You also do get a fuel pump shutoff switch, which is a very interesting touch, and that was issued in all Crown Vic police interceptors. So yeah, you get a giant storage area, and you even get a shelf up here. It's kind of a weird way they did the spare tire. I kind of wish they had kept it in the bottom and just made a giant shelf across, but at least you get a very deep entry right here. And the entry space itself is massive. There's almost nothing you couldn't fit into this rear. And let's hop back in the front and discuss my final thoughts. Alright, so for my final thoughts on this Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, I am very biased here because I want a Crown Victoria in my life. I am very weird, and I want an ex-cop car. But maybe that'll happen one day. We'll see. But as for my general thoughts, it is a really random car. I knew it would be very utilitarian, but some of the touches surprised me, both of the interior and the exterior. They have a lot of cool features. And overall, I think it could be a cool little car. However, I don't personally want to drive a Crown Vic daily, just because I don't want to be seen as impersonating a police officer. That could happen a lot. So, overall, I think it's a very interesting package. For the right people, it would work. And it's a very reliable vehicle. They all are. So, it's a weird alternative to a Toyota Camry, if you have the stomach to buy one. Alright, that'll just about wrap up this review. And thank you very much for watching. And thank you to Newport Speed Shop and Soda Motors in Newport, Rhode Island for allowing me to review this vehicle. Make sure to check out my POV drive coming up soon. Thank you for watching, and take care.